Hi everyone, Paula here from GB Intelligence. I'm joined here today with Louise Newbury-Smith, the UK Enterprise Regional Vice President at RingCentral, to discuss the recent digital boardroom she hosted alongside GB Intelligence, and to also find out a little bit more about the unified comms industry during the current pandemic. Hi Louise.
Hey Paula, thanks for the invite.
So I guess my first question would be on today's digital boardroom that you hosted with GB Intelligence around making working from home work for your business. How did you find it?
Yeah, the session was really good. You guys organised it incredibly well. It was really professional and was brilliant to see so many people attending and wanting to discuss a subject which is so topical for everybody at the minute. So yeah, really good.
Well, what contributions were made by the CIO community today?
There was lots of really great engaging discussion and everybody keen to share ideas, which is what it's all about, you know, how we can all help each other in that type of community. And there were a number of different topics that came up. Security around communications was one of them, and how people have reacted to the current situation that we find ourselves in, and that covered a number of different topics, not just around the technology itself and the tools that people are using to enable remote working, but how that also affects the culture of an organisation. And people's well-being. So yeah, it was a really fascinating discussion that in an hour we managed to cover a whole range of topics.
Is that what's resonating with what you've been hearing from your customer base?
Yeah, very definitely so. So some of our existing customers have asked us for support, and we're really operating as a partner to give them the most flexible options available to them, because some of them have had to completely change the way that they're operating their businesses. So, clearly we've been supporting customers like that. And for new customers, it's been around, the speed of execution. So it's really changed, I think, the definition in the industry of business continuity, and quickly people, react to this type of scenario. So very definitely so. All of those topics were resonating with me for the discussions that we've been having with our own customers and new customers coming to us at this time.
So how is RingCentral assisting the CIO community at this current time?
I think sponsoring the GB Intelligence events is probably one way, because coming together in a community where people can share ideas and genuinely help each other, especially across industries, getting ideas from different industries as to how they've been operating at this time. So I think that's one great way that we're all helping each other. Another way that we've been supporting some of the CIOs that are at the front line of the challenges with this crisis have been around deploying service free of charge into our schools, into our healthcare organisations, and into some of our not-for-profit organisations. So we've been trying to help directly where we can to enable people to work remotely. So telephony, messaging and video conferencing services are incredibly relevant when people are working in a remote style. So we've been directly trying to help there. But in other ways, for existing customers, trying to give them that level of flexibility.
So what do you think are the long-term effects of the current pandemic to business? And do you think the way we work will change dramatically?
I think a lot of customers are already on the journey of flexible working and remote working. But I think what it's done is accelerated a lot of those programs. And so I think what we need to do long term is look at how we can help business to capitalise on the changes that this situation has forced upon everybody. So there's certainly been, you could argue, some cost savings in terms of travel and productivity. So people being, in effect forced to be working from home perhaps, whereas otherwise they wouldn't have considered that as an appropriate business model. So I think that there are certainly areas that we should look at to see if that's sustainable longer term for our customers' businesses. I think the speed of adoption of services, you typically, as part of a project, be looking at stakeholder engagement, training, user acceptance testing before you'd launch a service, and that's a normal practice. But we've had to help our customers cut through all of that. So can we help simplify things going forward? And clearly that's the benefit of a cloud service, to be able to do that, a repeatable service. So I think there are definitely benefits. And one that came up today, which was actually quite amusing in terms of culture, have we lost the suited and booted culture?
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really interesting topic that one of the delegates brought up. So it's now much more acceptable to be casual in a business environment, whereas perhaps you would have been suited and booted previously. So it'll be really interesting to see if those types of cultural changes stick with us, and if so, for how long.
Yeah, definitely. I guess what significant changes has this precipitated in terms of business communications and cloud services?
So it's an interesting time. I think that there's quite a lot of, clearly and understandably, been a knee-jerk reaction, go and grab a tool, get everybody set up and just run with it. And I think that that's helped cloud adoption. But I think that we will see a second wave. So, for example, is the tool that you're using to do quizzes with your organisation right now really going to be your corporate tool longer term? So I think what it will do is challenge the decisions that have been made necessarily for a short-term fix right now into how that becomes a longer-term sustainable model and a business practice. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see that second generation cloud adopter that now understands cloud as a result, much better, and the decisions that those businesses make now going forward, now that they're in an informed place. So yeah, it'll be fascinating.
But has it affected the way RingCentral employees work together?
Well, from a personal point of view, I'm now learning French with the team, which I did have a go at a few years ago. Far too many than I'd care to mention. But, so I'm revisiting that because clearly we're a global organisation. I've got a ton of colleagues in France, so it would be great to be able to speak to them more effectively without putting myself to shame. So from a personal point of view, I've learned French. We've got chess lessons going on. We've done cook-alongs with some of our management team. So I think from a personal point of view, it's added to a skill set, put it that way.
Yeah.
But what I've learned in terms of, from a RingCentral perspective, stepping back and looking at the business, I already knew it's a brilliant business and I'm really proud to be part of it. But looking at what we've achieved and how we've helped customers over these recent weeks, I've learned that this business is awesome and it's capable of anything when it puts its mind to it. So how people have come together across the globe to help our customers has just been completely impressive. So hugely proud of that.
Oh, amazing. Well, so we typically view lockdown in terms of restriction, but can you identify any opportunity for businesses going through this experience?
Yeah, I think depending on which vertical sector a business is in, it can really challenge the way that they communicate with their own customers. So, for example, what we've seen are customers that have had to look at additional digital channels and additional ways of communicating with their customers more effectively. So whereas you might have a customer that's got a contact centre that's doing perhaps voice and web chat as their basic forms of communication, they've now been talking to us about how they expand that, because staying connected with their customers in the digital choice, a channel of choice that their customer chooses has proven to be absolutely critical in this time, particularly for customers in a retail sector or where they're dealing with consumers. So I think in terms of that, it's challenging the status quo. And so, yeah, I think there's greater opportunity there to become more efficient and deliver a better and more enriched customer service as a result of this time. So I think, we'll see more projects like that going forward.
Is there anything that you've specifically learned from going through this 100% remote work experience?
So again, from a personal point of view, I think it's really important to manage your time incredibly effectively.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Louise. I really appreciate it. It was great to get your insights into the industry during the current pandemic of COVID-19. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at our next GB Intelligence Digital Boardroom.
Thanks very much, Paul. Really great to chat to you. See you soon.
Thanks, Louise. Bye.
Bye.